on a day. In fact, the Chinese government is insisting that the manufacturers of computers that are being imported to China include software that bars access to certain parts of the internet.
Yes, but I still think your correspondent is likely to be right in the long run that actually governments are getting to the stage where they won't ever be able to be sure they can control all this, as they could in the days of the plugged-in home telephone and the printing press only.
And shortwave radio.
I think so, yes. But, let's not be too confident. People used to say about 1984, you couldn't do it because that level of surveillance would mean that you'd have to employ half the country to spy on the other half. It would be incredibly labor-intensive. It would be so boring and frustrating.
It would be East Germany, in fact.
And then we opened the Stasi files.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, we opened the Stasi files, and there they are. The East German secret police did have something like a third of the population on the payroll, doing nothing except piling up paper on their friends and relatives. So, never think of a satire. And Orwell was a great reader of Jonathan Swift and Defoe and the other great satirists. Never think about a satire that it couldn't be matched by reality.
We're talking with Christopher Hitchens on the 60th anniversary of the publication of 1984. You're listening to Talk of the Nation from NPR News. And Peter's with us. Peter calling from San Francisco.
Hi there. I'm a school teacher about 20 miles south of San Francisco, and I teach my kids about Burma today and historically. One of my foils for doing that is a book called Finding George Orwell in Burma. So in response to your penultimate question, how do you keep Orwell's 1984 alive today? Teach the kids about Burma.
Yes, the book is by Emma.
By a woman named Emma Larkin.
Emma Larkin. That's right. I knew it was Emma.
Pseudonym.
It's a very good book, and she has a sort of sour joke that is told by Burmese oppositionists. By the way, you're quite right to not call it Myanmar, as the dictatorship wants us to.
Yes, thank you.
And she says, she quotes them as saying, George Orwell wrote 3 novels about this country: Animal Farm, 1984, and Burmese Days. So they think that their country got the best of his attention, and in a way, a lot of what he did learn about the different forms in which humans can be cruel to one another was from his time as a policeman, a job in Burma, a job that he threw up because I think he feared it was making him into a sadist.
Yeah, I think Emma Larkin agrees with you. Anyway, thank you so much for your time.
No, and you.
Peter, thanks very much for the phone call. And Christopher Hitchens, we know you've got another appointment and you have to run, and we appreciate your taking the time to speak with us today.
Well, it was very good of you to ask me, and I'm sorry, but it's also Thomas Paine's 200th, not birthday, alas, death day today. So Orwell was a great admirer of him as a revolutionary pamphleteer, so I have to go and try and uphold his reputation as well.
And if you'd like, you can go back and listen to our interview with Christopher Hitchens about his thoughts on Thomas Paine. Appreciate your time.
Oh, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Christopher Hitchens, the author of Why Orwell Matters, joined us today on the line from his home here in Washington. And let's see if we can get another caller on the line. Let's go to Eric. Eric with us from St. Louis.
Hi there, Neil.
Hi.
I teach freshman composition at the University of Missouri, Kansas City, actually, and a popular lesson in freshman comp is talking about Orwell's thoughts about language, specifically kind of his criticism of kind of obtuse academic language as a means of obfuscation, and I think that 1984, one of the main things I take away from that is his ultimate extension of that theme into news, showing how you can completely control modes of thought in a society by altering what acceptable language is.
I wonder if you think that we teach 1984. I read it in high school, and I think it's largely a high school requirement. Is that too early? Should we read it later?
I think that a lot of the substance of 1984 probably would come out better at the college level, specifically after more historical training, after everyone's gone through their high school history classes at least.
Eric, thanks very much for the call. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Let's see if we go next to Todd. Todd with us from Cincinnati.
Yes, hi there. Thanks for having me, Neil.
Go ahead, please.
I'm a student at Cincinnati State Technical College, and I actually just finished reading 1984 again, and I'm in an ethics class, and we got into some very interesting discussions there about, because there's obviously a lot of ethical questions raised in 1984, and we did a lot of discussions about like a lot of the fallacies involved in 1984. And I think it's very relevant in this day and age because we like reading it can help you realize some of the fallacies that are used a lot in today's. Even you even see it today in a lot of our national media. There's never hardly any discussion about actual substantive issues. There's a lot of talk about what famous people are doing, who's getting involved in what, and not actual talk about maybe the multiple wars that we have going on and things like that. And you need to reflect upon that so we don't allow things to happen like that in our society. Because even though maybe the whole entire encompassing of that is not possible, it's very possible to use some of the issues in that to help control a population.
Well, it sounds like you're talking about newspeak there.
Well, I'm sorry?
It sounds like you're talking about newspeak.
Yes, that was definitely one of the issues that we talked about, and the whole concept of doublethink. Especially, you see a great example of it with the killing of the abortion doctor. You have someone who's claiming to be pro-life, but then he's taking life with his own hands, and convinced himself that that's okay. And there's, definitely all kinds of issues that come up from 1984. And,
not as an instrument of state policy, but I can see your point. Anyway, thanks very much for the phone call. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
And again, 1984, published in 1949, 60 years ago today, the author, George Orwell.